In a world that constantly urges you to fit in, be loud, and stand out, introverts hold a unique power that is often overlooked. They don't seek attention, they're not the life of the party, and they don't necessarily want to be in the spotlight. But can you imagine what would happen if introverts decided to rise up and truly use the power of their quiet to change the world? The truth is, the real strength of introverts doesn't come from vibrant social gatherings or noisy parties. Instead, it comes from their ability to focus, to be patient, and to think independently. Traits that are rare in today's fast-paced, constantly connected world. In fact, modern society, with its hustle and bustle, often misinterprets introversion as weakness or shyness. However, the reality couldn't be more different. Introverts possess an incredible ability to listen deeply, think critically, and focus on what truly matters, rather than getting swept up in the temporary and superficial. We live in a world that is filled with distractions, constant notifications, endless emails, and social media platforms bombarded with information. Everything around us is calling for our attention, but very rarely do we have the time to stop and think about what is truly important. It is within this chaos that introverts find their strength, not in following the external noise, but in seeking stillness and discovering their inner power. In today's world, people are expected to perform, to speak up, and to stand out. The loudest voices tend to dominate, and the quiet ones often go unnoticed. But introverts have an entirely different way of contributing to society. Their power lies not in outward displays of energy, but in the ability to reflect, analyze, and approach life thoughtfully. It's in their quiet nature that they can carve out space for creativity, focus, and deep connection, which ultimately leads to extraordinary impact, though it's often quieter and subtler than what we traditionally celebrate. In this journey, you will discover that silence and fewer social connections do not equate to weakness or loneliness. On the contrary, they provide an opportunity for greater strength, purpose, and self-awareness. Throughout this audiobook, we will explore how introverts use their unique strength to thrive in a noisy world. From building deep, meaningful relationships to overcoming social anxiety, to embracing self-acceptance and taking control of their lives. One of the most profound lessons we'll uncover is that the world doesn't need introverts to change who they are. Instead, the world needs them to embrace their quiet power. Being introverted isn't a flaw or something that needs fixing. It's a strength that can lead to personal fulfillment, stronger relationships, and even success. Quietness does not mean invisibility. It means depth, thoughtfulness, and a profound impact that resonates with those who truly listen. So, as we move through the chapters ahead, you'll learn how to use the power of introversion to build the life you want. Whether you're someone who has always identified as an introvert, or you're just beginning to understand the unique traits that make you who you are, this journey will help you embrace your quiet strength and learn how to thrive in a world that never seems to stop talking. Together, we will explore how introverts are uniquely equipped to change the world, one quiet moment at a time. Chapter 1. The Power of Introversion. In a world dominated by extroverts, the quiet and reserved nature of introverts is often misunderstood. Introverts are not shy or withdrawn. Rather, they are deeply introspective, often seeking solitude to recharge and reflect. While extroverts gain energy from social interaction, introverts thrive in solitude. This chapter will explore the profound power of introversion, why it's often seen as a strength, and how embracing introversion can lead to personal growth, stronger relationships, and greater success in a world that often overlooks this quiet strength. Understanding introversion, more than just being quiet. At its core, introversion is not just about being quiet or reserved. It's about how people recharge and where they get their energy. Introverts are typically energized by spending time alone, whether it's through reading, writing, thinking, or just being in their own space. Extroverts, on the other hand, feel most alive when they are around others, engaging in social activities and interactions. This fundamental difference in how we draw energy is the essence of introversion. Introverts often have a rich inner life. They enjoy introspection, deep thinking, and contemplation. Because they spend a lot of time processing their thoughts, they often have a higher capacity for self-awareness. They think before they speak, which allows them to be more measured and intentional with their words. While this might come across as reserved or distant to those who don't understand it, introverts are simply processing and carefully considering the world around them. The quiet strength of introverts. Introversion has a unique kind of strength. In a noisy world that values constant activity, extroverted behaviors, and immediate responses, introverts stand out by offering a different kind of power. Their strength lies in their ability to listen deeply, think critically, and approach problems thoughtfully. Introverts are naturally reflective, and this trait allows them to make sound decisions, analyze situations thoroughly, and understand people and circumstances more clearly. This deep thinking and reflective nature can be a powerful asset in both personal and professional life. For instance, in the workplace, introverts often excel at tasks that require focus, precision, and attention to detail. They are typically not drawn to the spotlight, but they possess the ability to work diligently behind the scenes, creating valuable contributions that may go unnoticed in the chaos of more extroverted environments. Their ability to work independently and avoid distractions makes them highly effective in roles that require sustained focus and mental effort. Introversion in a world that can't stop talking. The world around us is constantly buzzing. From social media to 24/7 news cycles, it's easy to feel like there's an overwhelming pressure to speak up, be heard, and engage in endless conversations. Extroversion is often seen as the ideal in modern society. People are praised for being outgoing, charismatic, and socially adept. But introverts can find their place in this fast-paced world too. In fact, introverts often excel in environments where deep thinking, concentration, and thoughtful engagement are required. While extroverts may thrive in group settings, introverts can be more adept at building deeper, one-on-one connections. They are excellent listeners, which allows them to connect with people on a profound level. Introverts tend to focus on quality over quantity, preferring to invest time and energy in fewer, more meaningful relationships rather than seeking superficial social interactions. This approach to relationships often results in stronger, more lasting bonds with others. Introverts are also more likely to engage in reflective practices, such as journaling, meditation, or long walks in nature, which help them maintain a sense of calm and clarity in a chaotic world. These practices allow them to recharge, gain insight into themselves, and approach life's challenges with a fresh perspective. While the world around them may seem noisy, introverts find peace in the quiet moments, and it is in these moments that they often discover their greatest strengths. The power of thoughtful action. Introverts may not always seek the spotlight, but when they do speak or take action, it is often with great thought and intention. Their natural inclination to reflect before responding allows them to choose their words and actions carefully. This thoughtful approach to life can have a profound impact, both personally and professionally. In leadership, introverts often excel because they are not driven by the need for validation or attention. Instead, they lead with purpose, humility, and empathy. Introverts tend to be great listeners, which enables them to understand the needs of others and make decisions that benefit the group as a whole. They often lead by example, demonstrating integrity, consistency, and quiet strength rather than relying on charisma or forceful tactics. Introverts can also be more resilient in the face of adversity. Their ability to think deeply about challenges and analyze situations from various angles allows them to adapt and persevere when faced with setbacks. This quiet strength is often underestimated, but it is a critical component of their success. Embracing the power of introversion. As we continue through this audiobook, we will explore how to harness the power of introversion. Embracing your introverted nature can lead to personal growth, fulfilling relationships, and success in both your professional and personal life. Introverts are not just the quiet ones in the corner. They are the thinkers, the deep listeners, and the ones who make thoughtful decisions that shape the world. Understanding the power of introversion is the first step toward embracing your true self. Whether you are an introvert or someone who interacts with introverts, this journey will help you appreciate the unique strengths that come with introversion. It's time to stop seeing introversion as something to be fixed or hidden and start celebrating it as the powerful, life-changing trait it truly is. Chapter 2. Embracing your introversion. In a world that seems to reward extroversion at every turn, it can be challenging for introverts to embrace their true nature. The constant emphasis on being social, outgoing, and constantly connected often leaves introverts feeling like they are somehow less than others. But the reality is that introversion is not a flaw. It is a powerful trait that, when fully embraced, can lead to greater self-acceptance, deeper connections, and a life of purpose and fulfillment. Accepting the difference. Introversion is not a weakness. The first step in embracing your introversion is to acknowledge that it is not a weakness. Society often positions introversion as something to be fixed, but nothing could be further from the truth. Being introverted doesn't mean that you are shy, antisocial, or incapable of interacting with others. It simply means that you derive your energy from solitude and reflection rather than from social interactions. This understanding is crucial because many introverts spend much of their lives feeling like they are flawed or inadequate simply because they are different from the more extroverted ideal that society promotes. However, introverts offer a unique perspective, and their ability to listen deeply, think critically, and reflect on their experiences makes them incredibly insightful and valuable members of society. The strength in solitude. One of the most misunderstood aspects of introversion is the need for solitude. Many introverts enjoy spending time alone, and this alone time isn't about being lonely. It's about recharging and reflecting. For introverts, solitude is not a void to be filled, but a space in which they can reconnect with themselves, process their thoughts, and cultivate their creativity. In this quiet space, introverts often do their best thinking. Whether it's writing, reading, or simply thinking deeply, solitude allows introverts to recharge and find clarity in their lives. This time spent alone is not wasted time. It is time well spent cultivating their inner world, which is just as important as their outer world. When introverts learn to embrace the power of solitude, they stop feeling guilty about needing time alone and begin to see it as a necessary and valuable part of their well-being. Far from being a sign of weakness, solitude is an essential part of their strength and creativity. Building confidence with few, quality relationships. Introverts often feel pressure to build a large social network. But the truth is that introverts thrive in relationships that are deep and meaningful rather than broad and superficial. Introverts may not have hundreds of acquaintances, but they tend to have a smaller group of friends with whom they share a deep connection. There is a unique power in having fewer but more authentic relationships. Introverts have the ability to form meaningful bonds with those they connect with on a deeper level. They aren't interested in small talk or surface-level interactions. Instead, they focus on quality conversations that create lasting relationships. While extroverts may feel energized by large gatherings or parties, introverts often feel more comfortable in smaller, more intimate settings where genuine connection can occur. Introverts value depth over breadth, and this approach leads to more fulfilling and lasting relationships, both personally and professionally. Finding comfort in solitude. The pressure to always be social, to always be engaged with others, can be overwhelming for introverts. This societal pressure often leads introverts to feel guilty about wanting to be alone or to enjoy their own company. But in reality, embracing solitude can be a source of strength. Introverts find solace in activities that allow them to connect with themselves, such as reading, writing, or even walking in nature. These solitary activities allow them to recharge and restore their energy, giving them the strength to engage with the world when necessary. Embracing the quiet moments, rather than feeling guilty about them, is key to unlocking the full potential of introversion. By finding comfort in solitude, introverts can discover a profound sense of inner peace that enables them to approach life with a calm, clear, and focused mind. This sense of peace is often elusive in the hustle and bustle of daily life, but introverts can tap into it whenever they need to recharge. The power of self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is the key to unlocking the full power of introversion. Once introverts stop trying to fit into a mold that doesn't suit them, they can begin to embrace their true selves and all the unique gifts they bring to the world. The first step in self-acceptance is understanding that introversion is not something that needs to be changed or fixed. It's simply a different way of experiencing and engaging with the world. When introverts accept themselves as they are, they free themselves from the pressure to conform to societal expectations. They can stop feeling like they need to be more outgoing or social and instead focus on developing their strengths. Whether it's their ability to listen, to think deeply, or to create, introverts can use their natural talents to make a meaningful impact in their own way. Ments or additional chapters. Feel free to let me know. Chapter 3. The Science of Introversion. Introversion is often misunderstood, especially in a world that seems to favor extroverts. But to truly understand the power of introversion, we need to take a closer look at the science behind it. Why do introverts behave the way they do? Why do they seem to prefer solitude and quiet spaces? What happens in the brain of an introvert that makes them process the world differently from extroverts? In this chapter, we'll delve into the fascinating science of introversion, exploring the biological, psychological, and neurological factors that shape the introverted personality. Understanding the brain of an introvert. To truly understand introversion, we need to start with the brain. Research has shown that introverts and extroverts actually have different levels of brain activity in certain areas. One of the key areas is the dopamine system, the part of the brain that governs pleasure, motivation, and reward. Extroverts tend to have a more sensitive dopamine system, meaning that they feel more energized by external stimuli, such as social interactions, parties, or activities that involve other people. This is why extroverts thrive in social settings. They are naturally drawn to the excitement of the external world, and their brains are wired to seek out this stimulation. On the other hand, introverts have a less sensitive dopamine system. They don't get as much of a rush from social interactions or high-energy environments. Instead, introverts are more sensitive to cortisol, a stress-related hormone. For introverts, socializing or being in stimulating environments can feel draining because their brain's reward system isn't as activated as that of extroverts. This is why introverts prefer quieter, less stimulating environments where they can recharge and think more deeply. This difference in brain activity explains a lot about why introverts tend to avoid large crowds or noisy environments. They don't find the same level of enjoyment in these settings as extroverts do. Instead, introverts are more attuned to internal experiences, which allows them to reflect, create, and analyze on a deeper level. The introvert's need for solitude. One of the most distinguishing features of introversion is the need for solitude. While extroverts gain energy from social interactions, introverts need time alone to recharge. This isn't about being antisocial or wanting to be isolated from others. It's about restoring their energy. Solitude gives introverts the chance to replenish their mental reserves and reconnect with their thoughts. Studies show that introverts have a higher level of activity in the frontal lobe, the part of the brain responsible for higher-order thinking, decision-making, and reflection. This heightened activity means that introverts are constantly processing information, making sense of their environment, and thinking critically about their experiences. This is why introverts often need quiet time alone. They need the space to reflect and process everything they've absorbed. The time introverts spend in solitude allows them to recharge their batteries, giving them the energy to engage meaningfully when they do interact with others. Introverts may be selective about when and how they engage with the outside world, but when they do, they are often deeply invested in the conversation or activity. Social anxiety, a biological response. Many introverts experience social anxiety, but it's important to understand that this is not simply a personality trait. It's also a biological response. As we mentioned earlier, introverts have a heightened sensitivity to cortisol, the hormone related to stress. This means that when introverts are in social situations, their bodies can go into a heightened state of alertness, leading to feelings of anxiety or discomfort. This is especially true for situations where introverts feel overwhelmed by external stimuli, such as large crowds, loud environments, or forced social interactions. The body's response to these stresses can make socializing feel draining rather than invigorating. This biological predisposition to experience more stress in social situations is one of the reasons why introverts may seem reserved or reluctant to engage in high-energy social environments. However, it's important to note that social anxiety is not the same as introversion. While introverts may feel more comfortable in smaller, quieter settings, they can still have fulfilling social interactions. Social anxiety, on the other hand, is a more pervasive fear of judgment or rejection in social situations. Understanding the biological foundations of social anxiety can help introverts manage these feelings and build confidence in their social interactions. The introvert's superpower: deep thinking and focus. One of the most remarkable traits of introverts is their ability to focus deeply and think critically. Because introverts are less distracted by external stimuli, they are often able to concentrate for extended periods of time. This makes them excellent at tasks that require sustained attention, such as reading, writing, problem-solving, and creating. Research shows that introverts tend to excel in environments that demand deep thinking and concentration. They are often the ones who can see the big picture because they take the time to analyze all the details before making decisions. Introverts can process information more thoroughly, which allows them to approach problems from multiple angles and come up with thoughtful, well-considered solutions. In many ways, this deep thinking is a superpower. While extroverts may jump into action quickly, introverts take their time to carefully consider all options. This methodical approach often leads to better decision-making and a deeper understanding of complex issues. Chapter 4. Building strong, meaningful relationships. As introverts, one of the greatest challenges we face is navigating the social world that often seems to prioritize extroverted qualities. Outgoing personalities, large social circles, and constant engagement. However, what introverts have that many extroverts may not possess is the ability to form deep, meaningful connections with others. We aren't necessarily interested in building a wide network of acquaintances, but rather cultivating a few significant, lasting relationships that bring real value into our lives. In this chapter, we'll explore the power of quality over quantity in relationships, how introverts create lasting connections, and why meaningful relationships are more important than ever. Quality over quantity, the introvert's approach to relationships. In today's society, there's often a push to network constantly and maintain large social circles. Social media, in particular, encourages us to grow our friend lists and be constantly in touch with as many people as possible. For introverts, This concept can feel overwhelming and unsustainable. Introverts, by nature, thrive in smaller, more intimate circles, and we find fulfillment not in the number of people we know, but in the depth of our connections with others. Introverts value authenticity in relationships. We're not interested in shallow conversations or superficial interactions. Instead, we prefer to invest time and energy into people who truly matter to us. It's not about collecting friends for the sake of numbers, but about building meaningful, trusting relationships where we can be our authentic selves without feeling the pressure to conform to social norms. By focusing on quality over quantity, introverts can foster relationships that are built on trust, understanding, and mutual respect. These relationships provide a sense of belonging and support, and they often last longer and go deeper than the casual connections that extroverts may form through sheer numbers alone. Introverts as deep listeners. One of the greatest strengths that introverts bring to relationships is our ability to listen deeply. While extroverts may be more inclined to speak up and fill the silence in conversations, introverts excel in listening. We understand that communication isn't just about talking. It's about understanding the other person, offering empathy, and being fully present. Deep listening is a rare skill in today's fast-paced world, where most people are preoccupied with waiting for their turn to speak. Introverts, however, can give others the gift of their undivided attention. This allows introverts to forge connections with others on a much deeper level. People appreciate being truly heard, and this makes introverts excellent friends, partners, and colleagues. When we take the time to listen, we gain insight into the thoughts, feelings, and experiences of those around us. This understanding allows us to provide meaningful support, offer thoughtful advice, and build bonds that are based on genuine connection rather than just surface-level interactions. The power of one-on-one interactions. While large social gatherings or parties may drain introverts, we tend to thrive in one-on-one conversations. These intimate settings allow us to build stronger bonds with others where we can truly connect without distractions. Introverts prefer meaningful, deep conversations where both parties can engage openly without feeling rushed or overwhelmed by too many people. In these settings, introverts can create connections based on shared values, interests, and goals. These one-on-one interactions allow for more personal and thoughtful exchanges where both individuals can listen and speak freely. Rather than trying to manage a crowd or maintain superficial pleasantries, introverts can focus on truly understanding the other person and forming a meaningful connection. This approach to relationships helps introverts to cultivate authentic, lasting friendships. Quality interactions in small, intimate settings help us build relationships that are fulfilling rather than draining. This is why introverts may feel more comfortable in smaller social settings, where they can engage deeply with a few people rather than trying to manage a large group of acquaintances. Setting boundaries and maintaining energy. One of the key aspects of building meaningful relationships as an introvert is learning to set boundaries and manage your energy. Introverts tend to get drained by social interactions, especially in large groups or noisy environments. Introverts need to recognize when they need to step back and recharge, and when to say no to events or social commitments that may leave them feeling overwhelmed. Setting healthy boundaries is crucial in relationships. Introverts should not feel obligated to attend every gathering or say yes to every request, especially if it interferes with their need for alone time. By respecting their own needs and limitations, introverts can prevent burnout and maintain the energy necessary to engage in relationships in a way that is sustainable. By setting boundaries, introverts ensure that the relationships they do nurture are truly meaningful. They can invest their time and energy in people who bring value to their lives, rather than stretching themselves thin, trying to meet the demands of a larger social network. The introvert's contribution to relationships. Introverts often underestimate the value they bring to relationships, while extroverts are typically seen as the more charismatic outgoing individuals. Introverts contribute to relationships in ways that are often more subtle, but just as valuable. Introverts are great at offering thoughtful advice, providing emotional support, and creating safe spaces for others to be vulnerable. Introverts are also more likely to give others the time and space they need to express themselves. By being patient and thoughtful listeners, introverts offer the gift of understanding and empathy, which strengthens bonds and builds trust. Their calm, steady presence is often exactly what is needed in times of stress or uncertainty. While introverts may not always seek attention or recognition, their contributions to relationships are invaluable. They create safe, supportive spaces where people can thrive. They build the kind of deep, meaningful connections that can stand the test of time. Chapter 5. The Strength of Silence. In a world that often celebrates noise, activity, and constant interaction, silence is often overlooked as a tool for growth, reflection, and power. But for introverts, silence isn't merely the absence of sound. It's a source of strength, a place of mental clarity, and a powerful tool for achieving success. In this chapter, we will explore how introverts use the strength of silence to cultivate focus, creativity, and leadership. Silence as a source of power. Silence is often misunderstood. In a world where everyone is shouting to be heard, silence can seem like a void or even a weakness. However, introverts understand that silence is not emptiness. It's a space where deep thinking, processing, and reflection can take place. For introverts, silence is not something to fear, it's something to embrace. When introverts choose silence, they are not retreating from the world. They are creating the mental and emotional space they need to connect with themselves, to reflect on their thoughts, and to process their experiences. This ability to find clarity in silence allows introverts to be thoughtful in their decisions, to create meaningful work, and to build deep connections with others. For introverts, silence is a tool for introspection. It allows them to recharge, process their emotions, and focus on their personal growth. It's in this stillness that introverts find their greatest strength, and from this space, they can take powerful action in the world. Silence in leadership. The traditional idea of leadership often involves being loud, confident, and dominant. Extroverted leaders are typically celebrated for their ability to speak in front of large crowds, to energize their teams, and to inspire through charisma and boldness. However, introverted leaders demonstrate a different kind of strength. Their power lies not in how loudly they speak, but in how deeply they listen, observe, and reflect. Introverted leaders often possess an extraordinary ability to listen. They pay attention to the needs, concerns, and ideas of their team members. By listening first, introverts gain valuable insights and can make decisions that are more informed and thoughtful. Rather than rushing to speak, introverted leaders take time to process information, ensuring that their actions align with the bigger picture. Introverted leaders also lead by example. They demonstrate consistency, humility, and integrity. They don't need to be the loudest voice in the room to be effective. Instead, they lead with quiet confidence, offering their team a model of calm and steady progress. The power of silence in leadership comes from the ability to reflect before acting, to lead with authenticity, and to create a work environment where everyone feels heard and valued. Silence and creativity. For introverts, silence is also an essential ingredient for creativity. The quiet moments that introverts seek out, whether they're spent in a quiet room, on a solo walk, or in the midst of personal reflection, are the spaces where new ideas can flourish. Silence gives introverts the time and freedom to think deeply and to engage with their creative processes without distraction. In contrast to the constant noise and busyness of the external world, silence provides introverts with the room to explore new ideas, solve problems, and generate innovative solutions. It's during these quiet moments that many introverts experience bursts of creativity and insight. Without the constant input of external stimuli, introverts are free to explore their inner worlds, where the seeds of great ideas are planted. This ability to thrive in silence is a key reason why introverts are often such effective problem solvers. They don't rush into decisions. Instead, they take the time to think, reflect, and process all available information. This methodical approach to problem solving allows introverts to come up with well-considered solutions, often finding unique approaches that others might overlook. Silence as emotional control. Silence also plays a critical role in emotional control. For introverts, the ability to stay calm in challenging situations is often a direct result of their comfort with silence. When faced with stress, conflict, or emotional turbulence, introverts tend to withdraw into themselves, giving them the time and space to process their emotions and think clearly. By embracing silence in moments of stress, introverts can avoid making rash decisions or reacting impulsively. This emotional control allows them to approach difficult situations with a clear mind, to think through the possible outcomes, and to choose a course of action that aligns with their values and goals. For introverts, the ability to sit with their emotions in silence is a form of self-mastery. It allows them to navigate through life's challenges with grace and composure, maintaining a sense of calm even in the face of adversity. This strength is not about suppressing emotions. It's about processing them healthily and constructively. The power of quiet confidence. While the world often associates confidence with being loud and outgoing, introverts demonstrate a different kind of confidence, quiet confidence. Quiet confidence doesn't require external validation. It doesn't need to be loud or showy. It is the confidence that comes from within, the kind of confidence that is rooted in self-awareness, self-acceptance, and the courage to be authentic. Quiet confidence allows introverts to be sure of themselves without needing to prove anything to anyone. It gives them the strength to stand by their ideas and values, even in situations where they may be in the minority. This kind of confidence is steady, unwavering, and deeply rooted in the individual's true self. Introverts with quiet confidence don't seek attention or validation. They simply live in alignment with their values and trust in their abilities. They know their worth, and they don't need to shout it from the rooftops. This is the power of silence. It allows introverts to be confident without being loud, assertive without being aggressive, and powerful without being forceful. Chapter 6. Overcoming social anxiety. Social anxiety is a challenge that many introverts face, and it's a complex issue that can sometimes make social interactions feel overwhelming. While introverts may naturally prefer smaller, quieter environments, the constant pressure to engage in social activities or network in larger groups can often lead to feelings of discomfort, anxiety, and even avoidance. In this chapter, we'll explore why social anxiety is common among introverts, the psychological and biological reasons behind it, and, most importantly, how introverts can overcome these challenges and embrace social situations with confidence. Why introverts experience social anxiety. First, it's important to understand that social anxiety isn't the same as introversion. While introverts are simply people who gain energy from solitude, social anxiety is a deeper, more pervasive fear of judgment or rejection in social situations. Introverts, especially those who experience social anxiety, may worry about saying the wrong thing, being judged, or simply not fitting in with the crowd. The anxiety comes not from the need for alone time, but from the fear of being uncomfortable or awkward in social situations. Biologically, introverts have a heightened sensitivity to cortisol, the stress hormone, which makes them more prone to anxiety when faced with social interactions. This sensitivity can make social situations feel more overwhelming or exhausting, especially if they're in large groups, noisy environments, or situations where there is pressure to be outgoing or perform socially. The brain's natural tendency to respond to these situations with heightened stress can create a sense of unease or discomfort. However, it's important to note that social anxiety can affect anyone, introverts or extroverts alike. The difference is that for introverts, the intensity of the social interaction may trigger a more immediate response, making them feel anxious or drained much more quickly than someone who thrives in social environments. Understanding the triggers of social anxiety. The first step in overcoming social anxiety is identifying what triggers it. For introverts, the triggers may include situations like large social gatherings. The pressure to interact with many people at once can be overwhelming, especially if you feel like you have to perform or engage in shallow conversations. Public speaking or presentations. Introverts may feel particularly anxious about speaking in front of a group, worrying about judgment or making mistakes. Feeling out of place. Situations where you don't feel comfortable, familiar, or aligned with the people around you can amplify anxiety. Introverts often prefer deep, meaningful conversations rather than surface-level chatter, so social settings that lack depth can feel draining and uncomfortable. Unexpected social interactions. Whether it's meeting new people or being unexpectedly put on the spot, introverts can feel overwhelmed by spontaneous social situations where they're unsure how to respond. By recognizing these triggers, introverts can start to understand why they feel anxious and begin to develop strategies to cope with those situations. Practical strategies to overcome social anxiety. Overcoming social anxiety is a gradual process that requires patience and self-compassion. Here are some practical strategies that can help introverts manage and reduce their anxiety in social situations. Prepare ahead of time. One of the best ways to reduce anxiety is by preparing in advance. If you know you'll be attending a social event or meeting new people, take some time to plan what you'd like to talk about or consider any questions you can ask to keep the conversation flowing. By having a few go-to topics in mind, you can feel more confident and less likely to get caught off guard in the moment. Set realistic expectations. Introverts often feel pressure to perform in social settings, but it's important to set realistic expectations. You don't need to be the life of the party or have a conversation with every person in the room. Set goals for yourself that feel achievable, such as having a meaningful conversation with just one person or attending the event for a set period of time before leaving to recharge. Focus on listening. Introverts tend to be excellent listeners, and this can be a great asset in social situations. Rather than feeling pressured to talk, focus on being an active listener. This can take the pressure off you to always come up with something to say, and it allows you to connect with others on a deeper level. People appreciate being truly heard, and by listening carefully, you create a space for more meaningful and less anxiety-inducing conversations. Practice gradually. Like any skill, overcoming social anxiety takes practice. Start by pushing yourself to participate in smaller social events, such as a one-on-one coffee with a friend or a small gathering. As you become more comfortable in these low-stakes situations, you can slowly build up to larger groups or more challenging interactions. By taking small steps, you can gradually expand your comfort zone without feeling overwhelmed. Use relaxation techniques. Managing anxiety in the moment is important, especially when you feel the physical symptoms of anxiety, like a racing heart or shallow breathing kicking in. Relaxation techniques such as deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, or mindfulness can help calm your nervous system and bring you back to a state of calm. Practice these techniques regularly so you feel more prepared when anxiety strikes. Give yourself permission to take breaks. Social anxiety can be particularly overwhelming in large gatherings. If you start to feel drained or anxious, give yourself permission to step away for a moment. Find a quiet spot to collect your thoughts and recharge. It's okay to take breaks when you need them. By honoring your need for solitude, you'll be able to return to social situations feeling refreshed and less anxious. Challenge negative thoughts. Many introverts with social anxiety have negative thoughts or fears about what others think of them. They may worry about saying the wrong thing or being judged. Practice challenging these thoughts by asking yourself if they are based on facts or assumptions. Are you sure that people are judging you, or is it just a fear in your own mind? By recognizing and challenging these thoughts, you can begin to shift your mindset and reduce anxiety. Overcoming social anxiety as an introvert doesn't mean you have to change who you are. You don't need to become an extrovert or force yourself to behave in ways that feel unnatural. Instead, it's about learning how to navigate social situations in a way that feels authentic and comfortable for you. You have a unique set of strengths, listening, deep thinking, and emotional depth that make you an excellent friend, partner, and professional. Embrace these qualities and allow them to guide your social interactions. Rather than trying to fit into a mold that doesn't suit you, celebrate your introversion and use it to your advantage. Chapter 7. The Strength of Self-Acceptance. Self-acceptance is the cornerstone of a fulfilled life, yet for many introverts, it can be the most difficult trait to cultivate. Living in a world that often celebrates extroversion, loudness, social interactions, and constant engagement can make introverts feel as though they must change who they are to fit in. However, true strength lies in accepting ourselves as we are, introversion and all. In this chapter, we will explore how introverts can embrace their nature, accept their strengths and weaknesses, and create a life that is authentic, empowering, and fulfilling. The importance of self-awareness. The first step towards self-acceptance is self-awareness, the ability to understand and recognize your own personality, preferences, strengths, and limitations. For introverts, this means acknowledging the unique ways in which you interact with the world around you. Introverts are often highly self-aware, not in a self-critical way, but in a reflective manner that allows them to tune into their emotions, thoughts, and reactions to various situations. Being self-aware allows introverts to understand why they may feel drained after social interactions, why they prefer quiet time alone, and how they process information more deeply than others. This awareness is not about labeling oneself as less or different, but about understanding how to work with your natural tendencies and design a lifestyle that honors them. Self-awareness also enables introverts to identify the situations that cause them stress or discomfort and take steps to mitigate those effects. By recognizing their emotional responses and the patterns that arise in social or work settings, introverts can learn to navigate these challenges in a healthier and more empowered way. Embracing introversion as a strength. Self-acceptance is deeply tied to embracing introversion as a strength rather than seeing it as something to be overcome. In a society that often elevates extroverted traits, charisma, sociability, and assertiveness, introverts may feel as though they must fix themselves to conform to societal expectations. However, introverts have qualities that are highly valuable, even if they are less visible in a fast-paced, noisy world. Introverts possess the ability to focus deeply, think critically, and create thoughtfully. They excel in tasks that require concentration, reflection, and solitude. In relationships, introverts are often the ones who can offer a listening ear, provide thoughtful advice, and build meaningful, long-lasting connections. These qualities are strengths, not weaknesses. By accepting introversion as a fundamental part of who they are, introverts can stop feeling guilty or ashamed for needing alone time or preferring smaller gatherings. Instead, they can celebrate these traits as an essential part of their identity and use them to their advantage. Letting go of the need for external validation. One of the key challenges for many introverts is the tendency to seek external validation. Because society often praises extroverted behaviors, introverts may feel pressured to constantly prove themselves or seek approval from others. However, true self-acceptance comes from within, not from the approval or recognition of others. Introverts may find themselves comparing their quiet, reflective nature to the outgoing, attention-grabbing extroverts around them. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy or a belief that they need to change in order to be valued. But the truth is, introverts don't need to change who they are to be worthy or successful. Their value doesn't depend on conforming to others' expectations. Instead, their strength lies in accepting their authentic selves, understanding that their quiet nature is just as valuable as the more extroverted traits that society celebrates. When introverts stop seeking validation from external sources and begin to trust their own worth, they can develop a sense of inner peace and self-confidence. They no longer need to measure their success or happiness against others. Instead, they create their own standards for what is meaningful, fulfilling, and authentic to them. Building a life of authenticity. Living authentically is one of the most powerful ways introverts can embrace self-acceptance. Authenticity means living in alignment with your true self, even if that self is different from what others expect or demand. Introverts often struggle with this, especially in social situations where they feel compelled to conform or pretend to be someone they're not. However, embracing authenticity allows introverts to build lives that are aligned with their values, passions, and strengths. It means creating environments where they feel comfortable, energized, and productive. Whether it's pursuing a career that values deep thinking and independent work, or nurturing relationships that are based on meaningful connection rather than superficial interactions, introverts can create lives that honor their true nature. For introverts, this authenticity is not about isolating themselves or rejecting society. It's about carving out spaces where they can thrive, whether in solitude or in relationships with people who understand and appreciate them for who they truly are. When introverts live authentically, they experience greater fulfillment, peace, and success because they are being true to themselves, not trying to meet the expectations of others. Overcoming the fear of being different. One of the biggest barriers to self-acceptance for introverts is the fear of being different. Introverts often feel like they don't fit into the mainstream, social norms, or the extroverted ideal. They may worry about being labeled as antisocial, shy, or not good enough because they don't adhere to societal expectations. But being different is not a flaw. It is a gift. The world needs people who think deeply, who listen carefully, and who approach problems with thoughtfulness and intention. Introverts bring unique perspectives to the table, and it's often these perspectives that lead to innovation, creativity, and growth. By overcoming the fear of being different and embracing their true selves, introverts can show the world the value of quiet strength. The power of self-compassion. Self-compassion is a critical part of self-acceptance. As introverts, we may be our own harshest critics. We often feel as though we need to be more outgoing, more social, or more visible in order to succeed. But self-compassion allows introverts to treat themselves with kindness and understanding, just as they would a close friend. By practicing self-compassion, introverts can release the pressure to conform to external expectations and instead focus on cultivating a life that feels true to themselves. This means forgiving themselves for moments of social discomfort, accepting their need for solitude, and celebrating their unique strengths without comparison. Chapter 8. The Power of Quiet Success. In a world that often celebrates the loudest, the fastest, and the most outwardly visible forms of success, introverts can feel as though their quieter, more reserved ways of achieving success are overlooked or undervalued. However, the truth is that introverts have a unique way of achieving success, one that is grounded in patience, deep thought, and persistence. In this chapter, we will explore how introverts can harness the power of their quiet nature to achieve success, both in their personal and professional lives, and why quiet success is just as impactful, if not more so, than the loud, attention-grabbing success that is often celebrated in mainstream society. Quiet success, a different kind of achievement. Quiet success is about achieving your goals and reaching your potential without seeking the spotlight or validation from others. For introverts, success often comes in the form of personal growth, the satisfaction of completing a meaningful project, or the fulfillment that comes from deep, authentic connections with others. Introverts don't need the external applause or acknowledgement that extroverts might crave. They find their motivation within. Introverts excel in environments that value depth over breadth. Their success is often built on a foundation of careful planning, consistent effort, and an unwavering focus on the tasks at hand. While the world may celebrate extroverts who shout the loudest, introverts achieve success in a quieter, more deliberate manner. The success of an introvert isn't about immediate recognition. It's about long-term fulfillment and impact. The power of patience and persistence. One of the key factors that contribute to the quiet success of introverts is their patience. Introverts understand that success doesn't happen overnight. They are willing to put in the time, effort, and discipline needed to reach their goals, even if it takes longer than expected. Introverts are not easily swayed by the rush of modern society, which often values quick wins and instant gratification. Instead, they take the time to think things through, to plan strategically, and to execute with care. This persistence and ability to stay focused over the long term is a key strength that leads to quiet but lasting success. In professional settings, introverts often shine in roles that require deep thinking, attention to detail, and problem solving. They may not seek the immediate rewards or accolades that come with being in the spotlight, but they build their success steadily, step by step. This slow, consistent approach often leads to the most meaningful and sustainable outcomes. Turning challenges into opportunities. Introverts face unique challenges in a world that often prioritizes extroversion, but these challenges can also serve as opportunities for growth and innovation. Introverts are naturally reflective, which allows them to process setbacks and failures with a calm, clear mind. Rather than getting discouraged or giving up, introverts tend to use these challenges as learning experiences. Their ability to think critically and reflect deeply helps them find creative solutions to problems. When faced with a challenge, introverts are not quick to act impulsively. Instead, they take the time to analyze the situation, think about the various possible outcomes, and make informed decisions. This thoughtful, measured approach helps introverts overcome obstacles with resilience and grace. Introverts are also highly self-aware, which allows them to recognize when they need to adjust their approach. They are not afraid to pivot or change direction if something isn't working, but they do so in a deliberate and purposeful way. This adaptability, paired with their patience and persistence, allows introverts to turn challenges into stepping stones toward success. Building success on meaningful work. Introverts are often driven by the desire to do meaningful work, work that aligns with their values, passions, and goals. Unlike extroverts, who may find fulfillment in the external validation that comes with their achievements, introverts find deep satisfaction in work that has purpose and significance. This desire for meaningful work means that introverts often excel in roles that require focus, dedication, and a sense of personal fulfillment. They are not motivated solely by external rewards, such as promotions or recognition. Instead, they are motivated by the intrinsic satisfaction of doing work that matters to them. Whether it's creating art, solving complex problems, or contributing to a cause they believe in, introverts find success in the process itself, rather than in the recognition that comes at the end. Introverts also tend to be perfectionists. This doesn't mean they are overly critical of themselves, but rather that they strive to do their best work, taking the time to ensure that everything is done thoroughly and thoughtfully. This attention to detail and commitment to excellence is what leads to the quiet success that introverts often achieve. The impact of quiet success. While the success of introverts may not always be immediately visible, it is no less impactful than the loud success of extroverts. In fact, quiet success is often more profound because it is grounded in authenticity, self-awareness, and a genuine desire to make a difference. Introverts are not motivated by fame or recognition. They are motivated by the satisfaction of doing meaningful work, creating something of value, and making a positive impact on the world. Whether they are writing a book, creating innovative solutions in their field, or nurturing deep relationships, introverts achieve success in a way that is aligned with their true selves. Introverts also tend to leave a lasting impact on others, even if they don't actively seek attention or recognition. Their quiet strength, thoughtfulness, and integrity inspire those around them, and their influence often extends far beyond what is immediately apparent. Throughout this journey, we have explored the unique power of introverts and how embracing our introverted nature can lead to a life that is rich with meaning, success, and personal fulfillment. From understanding the biological foundations of introversion to learning how to navigate the world with patience and intention, this audiobook aims to shed light on the strengths introverts bring to the table. Now, it's time to reflect on what we've learned and embrace the quiet strength within ourselves. The power of introversion. A gift, not a flaw. As introverts, it's easy to feel out of place in a world that seems to celebrate extroversion, loudness, sociability, and constant activity. We are often made to feel that our need for solitude, our preference for deep reflection, and our quiet nature are somehow lacking or inferior. But the truth is, introversion is not a flaw. It's a gift, a powerful trait that allows us to think deeply, build meaningful relationships, and lead with intention. Introverts offer the world a different kind of strength. We may not be the loudest in the room, but our ability to listen deeply, to think critically, and to approach life thoughtfully allows us to make an impact that is often quieter, but just as profound. By embracing our introverted nature, we can tap into a wellspring of potential that lies within us. Embracing solitude as a source of strength. One of the most important lessons we've learned is the power of solitude. Introverts thrive in environments where they can think, reflect, and recharge. Solitude is not something to be feared or avoided. It is in these quiet moments that introverts find their strength. Moments where we can reconnect with our inner selves, gain clarity, and process the world around us. Far from being a sign of isolation, solitude is where we cultivate creativity, solve problems, and gather the energy we need to engage with the world. Many introverts are reluctant to embrace solitude because society often frames it as loneliness. But the difference between loneliness and solitude is profound. Loneliness arises from feeling disconnected or isolated from others, while solitude is a conscious choice, a space where introverts can recharge, reflect, and grow. By learning to value solitude as a source of strength, introverts can lead a more centered, focused life. Building meaningful relationships. Introverts often focus on the quality of their relationships rather than the quantity. In a world where social media and networking events encourage us to collect connections like trophies, introverts understand that meaningful relationships are built on depth, trust, and mutual respect. We may not have hundreds of friends, but we have a few deep, lasting connections that provide real value in our lives. As introverts, we excel in listening. Our ability to listen carefully, to truly hear what others are saying, is one of our greatest strengths. People appreciate being genuinely heard, and introverts have the capacity to offer that rare gift. When we engage with others, it's not to seek validation or attention. It's to create a space for meaningful connection. By fostering relationships that are built on authenticity and empathy, introverts create a network of support that is both powerful and fulfilling. The quiet strength of leadership. Leadership is often associated with loud voices, bold actions, and outward charisma. However, introverts have a different, quieter form of leadership that is just as effective. Introverted leaders lead by example, demonstrating humility, patience, and thoughtful decision-making. They listen first, observe carefully, and think before acting, which makes them highly effective at guiding teams, managing complex situations, and making decisions that benefit the group. Introverts bring a sense of calm and stability to leadership. They create environments where people feel heard and respected, fostering trust and collaboration. Instead of leading through forceful personality or dominance, introverted leaders inspire through their actions, integrity, and the space they create for others to contribute meaningfully. This quiet strength is powerful because it focuses on the collective success of the group rather than individual recognition. Quiet success. Achieving on your own terms. Throughout this audiobook, we have discussed how introverts define success in their own terms. While the world often celebrates quick wins, fame, and attention, introverts find success differently, through patience, deep work, and steady progress toward their goals. Introverts may not seek the spotlight, but they achieve their success quietly, methodically, and with intention. Quiet success is about finding fulfillment in doing meaningful work, building authentic relationships, and living a life that aligns with your values. It's about focusing on what truly matters to you rather than trying to meet external expectations. Introverts are driven by a desire to make a lasting impact, not by the need for recognition. Their success is built on inner satisfaction, the knowledge that their work is meaningful, and the sense of peace that comes from living authentically. Self-acceptance. The key to unlocking your potential. The ultimate key to unlocking the power of introversion is self-acceptance. Once we accept ourselves as introverts, embracing the strengths, challenges, and unique traits that come with our personality, we can begin to live a life that is aligned with our true selves. Self-acceptance means letting go of the need to fit into a mold that doesn't suit us and instead celebrating who we are. When introverts accept their nature, they stop feeling guilty about needing time alone, avoiding large social gatherings, or focusing on deep, meaningful work. They stop comparing themselves to extroverts and realize that their way of engaging with the world is just as valuable, if not more so. Self-acceptance allows introverts to stand confidently in their own power and to create a life that is both fulfilling and authentic. Embracing quiet power. The world may often reward the loudest voices and the most extroverted behaviors, but introverts have a quiet power that is equally transformative. By embracing their introverted nature, introverts can achieve success on their own terms, build meaningful relationships, and lead with authenticity. The power of introversion lies in its quiet strength, in the ability to think deeply, listen attentively, and reflect thoughtfully. As we move forward in life, let us embrace the power of quiet strength. Let us value solitude as a tool for growth, relationships as sources of deep connection, and success as something that is defined by our own values. By accepting ourselves as introverts and leveraging the unique strengths we possess, we can create lives that are not only successful, but also deeply fulfilling,